Tesla has seen a variety of executive departures recently, and even those who are staying, who knows, it could be very bad times. The end of the road. Did you know Robyn Denholm has sold some shares? How crazy is that? Let's get into it. I've got my good friend Herbert here from Brighter. He's going to share us his wisdom. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza.
Brian, this is a very straightforward story, honestly.
Is it? Is it?
But
Because,
go ahead.
oh, yeah, I forgot. Oh, I should say thanks to supporters and all that good stuff. But yes, Chairman Robyn Denholm sold $50 million worth of stock. Well, I mean, it was 17 million, but that brings it to 50 million for the year. Yeah. And that was based on a program put in place in October. So this is a big deal, right? You said it's not. What's going on?
Well, of course, it's quite common, quite regular, quite easily understood by everybody except for CNBC, apparently, that executives and board members, they often will have a preset stock sales. When you get offered the share options, you want to be able to convert it to sell it, to buy it and then sell it right away. And then you've got this regular pre-scheduled quarterly sales regardless of what's happening, because you want to show that you're not timing the market, you don't have insider information. This is just something that's already been pre-planned all along. Now, I think it's fair to say that I have seen folks like ask the question, if you are a board member, why not keep some stock? And in her case and others, they just made the decision that it's just easier to say, every time my stock options come, then we're going to be able to go ahead and just automatically sell all of it. And that's fair.
And that's
And by the
fair.
way, it's not all of it. It's not all of it.
No.
If you look at how much shares he actually has, what, 115 million or something like that, this is like nothing.
Well, if you look, Mary Barra has done even larger sales, and she sells all of her shares. If we go back to here, we'll see that she still has.
Yes.
So yeah, she sold some new shares, but she still has the vast majority of her 1.66 million shares. Now, Herbert, it is important to plan for your future. And if you believe this company is going up in value, you should hold some shares. But that is a lot of money still in the bank.
Yeah, exactly.
1.66 million.
Yeah.
So what I hear you saying is this is the end of the world and we'll never recover from this financially. Ah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
If
okay,
some
the other side of the coin is that, these guys are getting paid so much. And the board members, one of the arguments is that the board members of Tesla actually get paid way more than maybe they deserve, maybe compared to others. It's pretty excessive. At the end of the day, if you look at Tesla and what Tesla has accomplished and how far they've grown, this is not like a regular company. This is massive, and the opportunities for them in front of them, right? They're dealing with the bot largest labor market, $44 trillion. They've got a path to AGI. They're going to be selling Dojo chips or having Dojo as a service potentially. They've got Robotaxi, of course, energy. All of these are the largest markets in the world, and there's going to be more. So if any company deserves this, they do. But that is one of the arguments, is that the board members shouldn't get this much. And then the other argument is, shouldn't it'd be nice to see stock purchases, like actual, executives and board members buying more stock. But again, it's like, we're talking about people making 800 million, $1 billion. They don't need to be buying more. This is pretty well enough for most people.
So you got to realize these people don't have other incomes necessarily that would allow for substantial purchases. It's not like they have, that this is a hobby and they're going to grab some of their paycheck money and dump it in. The other problem they have is, like you were saying, their purchases and sales need to be choreographed well in advance to avoid trading on inside
Yeah.
information. So when you or I see a buying opportunity, we are free to jump, or a selling opportunity for that matter. We are free to jump, to pounce on it at the last second, where these people would be required to put the money in to announce the sale so far in advance that they cannot legally time the market. And It is not unusual for CEOs to sell shares, both to pay the tax on the grants that they've been given, which is
That's that's why they
often,
sell the shares. Yeah.
yes. Well, but then you've got others like Mary Barra who just sell the shares. I mean,
Mhm.
it's her paycheck. If you've still got 1.66 million shares in the bank, your retirement is taken care of. Your grandchildren's retirement is taken care of. It is a lot of money.
Mhm.
Are they overpaid? Let's address that. The
Mhm.
people who say that believe that Tesla should be trading 90% lower than it is. So let's just take
Mhm.
all those award amounts and reduce them by 90%. Don't look so crazy no mo. What's going on is you're mad that the stock is as high as it is, so you're lashing out. And that's what I'm seeing anyway. I don't know about you. What do you think on that?
It's a good argument, right? I mean, how much money should you be giving a board member for what work do they actually do, right? As opposed to Elon. Elon deserves what he has accomplished because he works hard and he's brilliant and he's made big decisions and he's hired people. He's created the company the way it is. I'm not trying to downplay the board members, but again, that part, right? It's like how much is too much for the board members. But like I said earlier, this is one of the most important consequential companies in the world. They have been very successful, and I believe that they're going to be even more successful at this point. And these are, while they're big numbers for an individual, they're dropping a bucket for we're talking about trillions of dollars of market cap they're building here. And right now, we kind of touched, briefly the 1 trillion, right? As you and I believe, this is going to be like tiny compared to where we end up being.
Right. Today's share price is going to look as quaint as the 110 that we saw just a year ago. No one looks at a ship captain who conquered some great feat of exploration and says, well, yeah, but he didn't hoist the mainsail. Of course he didn't. But when the storm is coming, you bet he's on deck pulling the ropes, and
Yeah.
Elon does the same. You don't see Peter Rawlinson losing sleep over Lucid. I don't know what RJ does exactly. I can't speak to his level of involvement at Rivian, but I'll tell you, Ford and GM and Stellantis, their CEOs aren't located in the same place as their factories. And for that matter,
Mhm.
Peter is in Los Angeles while his factory's in Arizona, but I imagine he spends a fair bit of time in Arizona as well. They're not prohibitively far apart, but not as close as the GM factory to the GM headquarters.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of misunderstanding there. The biggest thing I'd say about board member contributions, compensation, is that you aren't paying it. I'm paying it. It's not
Mhm.
paid out of the profit. It's not paid from tax. Oh, that's all this taxpayer money going to pay these people. No, no, it's shareholders. If I
Mhm.
have a problem with it, I'll address it. I would like to know what the board of directors does, but I would like to know that at every company, and I can't find good answers regardless. What does a board of director do? Well, they give advice and consent. What does that mean? What are they actually doing? And I've spoken to a few directors before from boards, not directors, but board members. And what they said is all of it's under NDA, so I can't even tell you what I do. So that's not what I would call transparency, but that's what it is. In the comments, I would ask you guys, are they paid too much? Do you have an issue with it? And what will you do about it? Will you vote against re-electing the board? Will you vote against any of the things coming up? The shareholder vote is open. Some of the issues include Elon's back pay, maintaining the years of service per board of director, moving the headquarters from Delaware to Texas, and a few other smaller, changing the vote to simple majority on shareholder initiatives, I suppose is one way to put it. All of those things are open to votes. We've seen some very vocal people on both sides of it. We know that Tesla Boomer Mama, Alexandra Mertz, has run a campaign to get as many people as possible to support it. We know Leo Kogwan and Ross Gerber uh, are against it. My philosophy is it it's back pay. We a deal's a deal. We had a deal. I
Mhm.
don't know. I don't know what would have to be in your heart or your head to vote against it. But I don't know. Maybe your way of protesting is by not voting at all. I don't know. I don't know. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, no, there's no doubt you have to pay the man. And it's not just for the back pay, as you just said. That's absolutely true, right? It's not just that. It's the future of Tesla and what's going to happen in the future. There's so much. We're at the brink of the most important thing, right? Which is AGI. We need to be able to make sure that humanity is a positive society with sentient bots, and it's going to happen. It's going to get there. But do you want Facebook? Do you want that guy to be running it? Do you want the Google guys to do it? Ads is their primary business model, and this is important. So please vote properly, not just because he deserved it in the past. It's what's going to happen in the future. You want them here. You want them to be. And again, it's just ridiculous, as you can tell, right? He was paid $0, and only if it accomplished the milestones, which are not just market cap, but also revenue and earnings that were attached to it too, operational metrics. Only if it 10x does he get paid, and that's what happened. So it's like it's crazy that you don't pay somebody because we all benefited from it. And it's again, drop in the bucket, but we want it to happen again. We want to say a 10x from now, 20x from now, and it's going to happen. And he needs to be here to make that happen.
Part of the trick is a lot of the people voting on the package today did not enjoy
Right.
that benefit because they came in much later. I came in after the initial compensation plan, but I came in knowing that the compensation plan was in place and saying, look, if my paltry investment can pay off my house, he deserves every penny. And that
Yes.
remains my position, but I did buy a nicer house. So
Hmm.
now I need a few more gains. So let's work on that, you guys. So what did we miss? What did we misunderstand? Big thanks to Herbert from Brighter. We do a co-stream every week where we simulcast with Hans C. Nelson every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific. And it's a lot of fun. And my gosh, do we get into it. So everybody else, like, subscribe, do the usual, hit the thumbs, yours, your neighbors, it doesn't matter. And stay tuned, stay juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots on the flippity flop.